will not stand in Kiev, but in Berlin. And this is a big fear, as you know, in Europe, especially in the minds of the Germans. So, and the Americans, like I have expected, they are going a back turn in helping Ukraine. And as soon as the Israeli problem has started, their main focus right now in Congress is not Ukraine, because the budget is still not approved, but the Israeli budget is approved. Um, the Europe's fear is that the Americans will lose their concentration after a time because Israel is much more important strategically in that sense for the Americans than Ukraine or any Eastern European country. In that sense, if you think that the Europeans are also not prepared militarily, the jumping of the Germans, for example, for the first time, so strict to being on the side of Israel or other social democrat countries who are standing right now with Israel is not their love for Israel. It is the belief that when they are act with the Americans right now together and pump every support there, that the war will end as soon as possible so they can concentrate on Ukraine. But the other competitors of the United States, including China, including Russia, and also at one point Iran, want to drag US and Israel slowly into a mud, just like they have created the mud in Ukraine. So this is a much larger picture. You have to understand why some countries are very silent. They are not silent, they are anxious. I'm sure right now Saudi Arabia is, thinking about how to get out of this. Because on one hand, you have public perception inside of Saudi Arabia of common people, how they think about the situation. On the other hand, they were just a meter away from a normalization process of Israel and maybe was thinking that there is a viable solution for two-state solution in Israel. Right now, this is off the table. And Turkey, in the same line, will in the normalization process with United Arab Emirates, with Saudi Arabia, with Israel, with Egypt. Right now, everything is off the table, and nobody wants to put his feet into this mud because they don't know what what the future will look like here. Because this is very clear that there is some outside power also planning that some countries are involved into this mud and cannot get out. So one of these corridors, especially the middle corridor, will be out of the question in that sense. So all of this comes together when you look at this. So when you go towards Israel, there is another question. Why they are acting right now so brutally is the reason Israel also knows that in 5 years or 10 years, the opportunity to have the Americans and the Europeans backing you in the same strength right now will not be possible because Israel, especially Netanyahu's regime, is they are thinking right now from their rationality, we must solve this problem as soon as possible, even if it's ethnic cleansing, even if it's the displacement, because tomorrow we will no more have the power or time for that. So you have to look at this from this point too. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harun. And I think uh, what we are discussing, just for a bit of clarity, is not supporting or endorsing any of the solutions that we are discussing. We're just discussing what logical or possible solutions are there or have been proposed in the past or are in discussion in the present. So the displacement proposal, I think Khalid made some comments about what would be the ideal scenario. And I think what the most favorable scenario for the Palestinians or the Jews, there might be some most favorable or ideal scenarios, but on ground, the reality is, if we see, the Jews have a stable state, a strong state with a lot of international support, and displacement of them would be a wishful thinking at the moment. Moving forward, if anyone has any comments, so that we can wrap up and move to the next
I have
proposal.
another idea. Another, you know,
No,
I
no.
think
I,
there.
I, I have a few questions from Khalid. Basically, Khalid, you said that's an ideal solution, but how is that ideal in current scenario? How